You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
Starting quarterback for
Yes, sir. Aidan O'Connell.
What went behind that decision?
It was a quarterback battle early on. Aidan started 5 games, and at this point, I think it's best to go with Aidan going forward.
In terms of the quarterback decision, do you envision this being kind of a constant battle throughout the year, or do you plan on making the switch for the year?
I don't plan on making switches at any time. Just when it's time to make a switch, we make a switch.
Coach, can you please clarify what did you see on AOC on Aidan that made you have this decision, or was this like a team decision?
No, it wasn't a team decision. It was my decision. I just felt it was what's best going for our offense going forward.
Aidan O'Connell from last year to this year and the progression that he's had as a quarterback that gives you confidence in him for this week?
Yeah, way more vocal. Just vocal, confidence. Out of that shell, not looking like a rookie no more, not acting like a rookie no more. He has a certain presence about himself. And it's not so outgoing where you'll just notice it, but if you've been around him enough, he's definitely speaking up a lot more. I love how he walks around the building. Like I said, really what I respected the most is when we named Gardner the starter, he said, all right, I'm gonna be the best scout team quarterback possible. And he was lighting our ass up, right? And every day he gave us the best look. And he walked around with a smile on his face, and if you remember the Baltimore game, him and Jackson Powers were sitting there rallying the troops and pumping up, and he was just a great teammate. So all those things factor into decisions.
That's good.
Okay. All right, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Got to love that confidence with that answer. Who's the starting quarterback? No hesitation, Aidan O'Connell.
No hesitation. Let's play this right here. There we go. No hesitation. We want to remind you. Did you start off?
No. It's gone.
Oh. We wanted to remind you that it is time for Team Ramrod. There you go. All right. All right, guys. I'm trying to do everything I can. I'm a little small into this. I am in Las Vegas. I wanted to go in front of the torch, but I have a very important date later on. I'm gonna go see Earth and the Fire at the Venetian today. So right after this, I gotta go get ready for that one. So here we are. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just turned the music down a little bit.
Okay.
It was drowning you out on my end, so I'll make sure you can be heard. Don't worry, I got this. I got you. Don't trip.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. It's the Cage Match Friday edition. It feels weird. I'm used to having headphones in my ears, but we're going to talk about Aidan O'Connell being the starter and maybe being the one to turn this offense around.
I think so. I mean, this is what we've been clamoring for. Well, really, not since the start of the season, but really about in week 3 or so, we would kind of get us personally, not all Raider Nation, but us personally. I know it's been a mixed bag, but yeah, I mean, even AP said he feels he gives his best chance to win, and he kept going over, everything we heard. We did it in that, little intro right there, and now it's time to see what Aidan O'Connell has. Same thing we said last year, but see what he has. See if he is the quarterback of the future. And if he can come out there and make this offense go from stagnant to explosive, I don't think we need to draft a fucking quarterback. We need to find his backup.
Yeah, so
but he's got what? This is week 6?
Week 6.
So he's got 11 weeks right here to prove whether he's the man or if he's not. Don't turn him back now.
Well, before we go into the show, let's go into our favorite segment, the shameless plug. Here we go.
All right, everyone, go to the YouTube channel, The Cage Match Show. Like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit that little bell so you know every time we drop a new video. If Roger Goodell decides he wants to get hold of this broadcast for whatever reason and try to shut us down, you can catch us on Facebook at the Oakland Raiders Savage page.
Hey.
Or
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, or the Asylum page. When you're done with all that, once this show is over, go visit WGG and browse their website, make your choices. And when you check out, in the discount code, do Cage Match, one word, to get 10% off your entire order.
And like we always say, when you think of wins, think of dubs. When you think of dubs, think of dubby. Go into the box code right there. One word, Cage Match, CAGEMATCH, 10% off your order. And also, remember, go to RaiderNationForLifer.com. That is RN, the number 4, LIFER.com. Go there and check out his merch. I'm going to try to go to his booth on Sunday and try to get some stuff. And I don't have one of his hats on now, but usually 90% of the time, I always wear a hat only from the man himself, the Compa Fabian. Go there to his website, RN, the number 4, LIFER.com. And also remember, shouts out to RaiderMan19.com. He will have his podcast going soon. He's a big part of the show. You hear him at the end of the intro doing the Raider Oath. He has his own merch on there, so make sure you go on there, check out his Oath shirts. I got to go get me one of those too. And like we always say, we want to try to get him to the torch somehow, some way. Can you imagine the Raider Man doing the Oath in front of 65,000 people at the Allegiant Stadium? The Oakland Mystique mixed with the Las Vegas Raider way, you know what I mean? Combining the mega powers right there. Oh, yeah. So make sure you go there and check and make sure you go there. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to somehow get there to Mark Davis and find a way to get him up there because, for sure that'll fire up the crowd. And if we can do it every single week at home, we can defend this house, that they used to say on those Under Armour commercials. Anyway. All right.
Hey, I might have you pick me up something from that from the Compa, my patch.
Oh yeah, yes. Probably gonna get you a starter kit again, a sticker. So, all right, ginger ale. All right, so Asylum.
That's me.
We have an interesting game. Of course, it is against our rival, a big rival. In the history of the Raiders, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we're going out there with a new quarterback who was our last quarterback Last year,
not necessarily new. We know this quarterback.
of
He
course,
just hasn't started this season. That's all.
yes. So last year's stats. Aidan O'Connell, 2023 season, he threw for 2,218 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions with an 83.9 rating. He started 11 games. Of course, that first game was against the Chargers, and everyone wants to go and use that against Aidan, and he's a statue. But if you remember in that game, McDaniels never put help on that right side, so Thera Mumford was always getting. I think it was Thera Mumford. Was Thera Mumford? No, it was. It was.
No, it was Illuminor.
Illuminor was back there. Thera Mumford took over. Illuminor was on that right side, and they didn't put no tight end over there or a running back to be a personal protector.
If you remember correctly, it was 50-something snaps, and he was only double teamed twice.
Yes.
So I mean that should tell you everything you need to know there. That start was sabotaged, and I'm going to even say that probably fucked with his head a little bit in a few of his other early starts. So the fact that he was able to bounce back and be able to throw, like you said, 2,200 yards, 12 TDs, 7 interceptions. But this is what we want to see here. More TDs versus interceptions.
Yep.
You know, and now that he's got all that under his belt, now he went through the whole thing again. I think he's got that chip on his shoulder. So, you know, we might be in for some magic.
Hey, I can't wait. You know, it's a different type of quarterback compared to Gardner Minshew, where the offensive linemen don't really have to see where he's going. They know he's going to be within the pocket unless, of course, the play is called for him to roll out left or right. But you've seen last year that even if he does get flushed out one way, he's still accurate on the run.
Yes, he is. And that's the biggest plus you have with Aidan O'Connell versus Minshew is his accuracy, his arm and his accuracy. He has a better arm than Minshew. And his accuracy, whether it's on the run or standing in the pocket, I mean, that's all you heard about during training camps and preseason and everything was just how accurate he is with the ball. And I think in a Luke Getsy West Coast offense, that's what they need, not somebody who's going to try to go off script and try to make something happen.
Yeah, because I don't know. It just whether it is Minshew himself or, like you said, it is that type of offense is more set for more of a pocket passer. I'm using air quotes right now, pocket passer. You know, we'll see because, you know, Justin Fields, who we're going to play this Sunday also, you know, he was in an offense last year when Getsy was in Chicago, when both of them were in Chicago. And I don't know, it just didn't mesh well. That were who was the backup quarterback? Agent Badgett. He had a better outing. And no, he was also mobile, but he had more discipline in staying in the pocket when he needed to and then running out when he had to if the play was either broken down or he couldn't find an open receiver. So
he was more of a prototypical quarterback. Somebody who's going to stay in the pocket and only run when he needs to, like again and shit like that. That's what Badgett was, and it seemed to work in that system. I said it, what was it, on Wednesday? We're going to get the proof. It's going to take a couple of games, I think, but we're going to get the proof or not whether Getsy's system is more conducive to a pocket passer or somebody who's going to go off script.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like with Gardner Minshew, maybe he couldn't really see over his line, and I don't have the graphic anymore on here, but Aidan O'Connell was what, an inch or two taller than him.
Aidan O'Connell, Minshew. Aidan O'Connell's like 6'3", if I remember correctly, and Minshew's like 6'1", with his cleats on.
So inches matter. So with that, I mean, maybe he'll be able to see the receivers, better doing the routes, or maybe even he's more, I guess, more of a pocket passer. He's able to just sit there and go through his progressions before he had to decide to take off or not?
Well, I think there's a few things in here that's going to go. One, I think Minshew might have been having that feeling in the back of his mind that he needs to play well. Otherwise, he's going to lose his job. And that kind of affects, a player. I'll give him that much, maybe a little bit of pressure, which we know Minshew's not great with pressure. He's shown it throughout his career that way. But with Aidan O'Connell, the big things you're going to get, quick throws. He has a quicker release time than Minshew. He also can scan the field, go through his progressions faster than Minshew. So, when we're trying to do those West Coast, which is, sometimes in West Coast, you're not even taking 3 steps back. It's just 2 steps or you're in shotgun. As soon as you get the ball, it's coming out to a receiver who's going, at it, in a slot or, at an angle and shit, and getting all those extra yards after the catch. That's West Coast offense. Get the ball out quick, short, and let your receivers, let your playmakers make plays. And that's one thing that Minshew wouldn't do. That he'd start running. He'd run out of the pocket before the pocket was even collapsing. And then turn around and run into, 3 or 4 of his guys. And actually, this is slightly wrong, Anna. Zamir White may be out this weekend, but Mayer is not on the IR. He was put on NFL illness, which is different. He doesn't have to wait 4 weeks to come back.
Well, yeah, that's good because I know they're still trying to figure out when he's coming back. And no, it's not one of those he's disgruntled. We talked about this on Wednesday that he's just, some players and how you referenced I'm forgetting his name, Barrett Robbins. You referenced Barrett Robbins that, bipolar.
Bipolar, just different. There's all kinds of different mental health, but bipolar being a big one. And and these are things. And the reason I mentioned it last week on Wednesday, what we're bringing up here is those are the kind of things that it doesn't come back. It doesn't come back. You don't necessarily get right within a week. It sometimes takes time. And when you're having those big ups and downs, regardless of whatever it is, and we're assuming, I'll say this, I'm not going to be like certain podcasters who say, oh, I guarantee it's this, and they have no actual information on this shit. We are assuming it's possibly in the realm of this kind of a situation, and that's why it's taking so long for him to get back.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what people like to do. They want to go and jump to conclusions because it's easy for them to make their content. If you add a little, a little scandal to it or a little, drama to it, we're going to get some likes and views and all that. But no, that's not the case.
I don't think Mayer's a crackhead. Waller wasn't a crackhead. Waller had his issues. He got past everything, and Waller had an addiction problem, which is a completely different situation. And Mayer is just trying to get right, whatever it is. Unlike Chandler Jones, who turned around and turned everything public and made it into a spectacle, I think Mayer is just trying to handle his shit, get back, and be able to come back. And I think so far the Raiders have handled it well.
CTE is not real. So
KDO, I don't think he's playing this week.
No, he has been ruled
out. If you have him on your fantasy, keep him on your bench.
Yes.
All right, Lost TV. How can you guarantee that he's a tweaker? Show me the fucking proof.
I'm gonna say Gardner Minshew is more of a tweaker than Michael Mayer is. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, no, man, booger in the mouth. So when you're hungry right away.
I can't believe the cameras went to right. That motherfucker's probably sitting there hiding in the corner of the locker room right now. I can't believe they caught that shit.
Well, speaking of Minshew getting picked, or picks.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Sure, you did. It is. You have your thoughts on shit. Good job. You know, why don't you sell it to the other team instead so we can get wins instead of fucking up our own team?
All right, let's go into why Gardner Minshew, speaking of picks and Gardner Minshew, why Gardner Minshew was benched. If you look at his stats from this season, they've really been up and down. Yeah, his completion percentage has been highest in the league, but he also has the 5 interceptions, and of course that one last week where he had that pick six. 100-yard pick six, but we were right there, 5 yards, first and 5, basically, first and 5 yards to the goal line, and he just did that jump pass that he didn't need to do all that. And then that second interception, you know, because AP talks about ball control. It was just time for Gardner Minshew to step back and have Aidan O'Connell come in, because AP talked about the we're going to look at it in quarters. So basically the first 4 games was Minshew, you're the starter. You know, whatever you mess up, I'll give you a chance to figure it out and whatever. But once we got to the 5th game, which was against these Broncos, and 2 interceptions, of course, that one that he gave away and killed the whole momentum for the whole rest of the game, it was time to go quarterback switch, and this is where we are right now.
Yeah, no, and I think that pick six put him on the hot seat, and that second interception just kind of solidified the decision to bring him out of that game, because when that happened, I believe he was still in the game, and at that point the game just got kind of blown out. When you're doing just like Jimmy G did, and you're having more interceptions versus touchdowns and things going, it kind of puts you on the hot seat.
Yeah.
You know, Block Raider here talking about Gardner Minshew isn't even the problem. He's surrounded by terrible coaching. I'm not going to say, then he goes Luke Getsy and AP equals clowns. You expect rookies to make mistakes. I expect AP to make mistakes. Getsy, the decision is still out about Getsy on this. Gardner Minshew, it was part of the problem. If you're going to say it's not his problem, he wasn't the problem, then the next bet I would have gone with was the offensive line before I start going after Luke Getsy and AP. My opinion. The offensive line coach, it starts going. I'm not going to say anything about coaching as of yet, because this is a first year together. Things got to come together. But it's not necessarily, I can't say you're not off on that statement. We just don't know it yet.
I mean, I know everyone looks at AP and they talk about that 4th and 2 that he didn't go for, and the decisions. He's not being aggressive here, and then he's overly aggressive there, and that 2 weeks ago where he had the business decisions comment. But it's just he's a rookie head coach too, so he has to also learn how to be a head coach. The players wanted AP. And us fans, after that Bronco game last year, they were chanting at Legion Stadium, chanting AP. He gets hired. So, and that's why, one of the things that AP did that you don't see a lot of rookie coaches do is AP brought in veteran head coaches like Marvin Lewis and Joe Philbin. And then he also has Tom Coughlin that he talks to just about every day in the morning. So, he's also learning how to be a coach, but this team really kind of, like we keep talking about it, where we did have a playoff caliber team, and people can say, well, they were lucky in 2021 because they got in, but they still got in. They still got into the playoffs, and they almost beat the Bengals in that game.
I'm sorry, almost beating the Bengals. Yes, we did, and we don't take almost in most cases. But the fact that you gave if it wasn't for that phantom whistle, we would have beat the Bengals. How do you call that being lucky? Because that year the Bengals were a damn good team and owned the damn Chiefs. That was a year that I believe the Chiefs lost to Papa Joe twice.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't count us
Burrowhead.
lucky.
Burrowhead.
You know, I don't count us lucky to get in. We just had the bad luck in the one game. You know, being that playoff, we were a playoff team that year with Bisaccia.
Yeah.
You know, that team, what they did to come together and everything shows what kind of the kind of shit that happens with these kind of coaches. We said about DeMarco Murray, Dan Campbell, shit like that. Give these coaches a chance. All them, well, Murray did it last year. He was the first year last year. You know, things came together. But let's give our coaching staff a chance here. This is the first time he's talking to, he has all kinds of people he's talking to. He knows that he still has to learn this shit, being AP. Give him a chance to fucking learn. I mean, you expect rookies to make rookie mistakes on the field. You give them some leeway on that. When they keep making them is when the problem is, but you give them some leeway. You got to give your coach some fucking leeway as well. And whether Luke Getsy, we will find out by the end of the year. Whether Luke Getsy was the right choice or not, we'll find out. And if he wasn't, we will get that fixed and go. But again, when I said it, 3 weeks ago, for the last 3 weeks or whatever, my big question was, is it really Luke Getsy? Or was it execution on the field from the players?
Yeah.
And to me, you look at a lot of Getsy's plays, they're good. They're there. But when we haven't been executing, the offensive line hasn't executed. They haven't been able to come together. And we've had so many different variations on this offensive line. We're only in week 6.
Yeah.
Give them a chance. Once the players are executing, and you can say it's not the players, then we can go blame Luke Getsy. Because if they execute and all of a sudden, come back together and blow out and just, let's say, go on a 4-game winning streak, how many of these people who are calling them clowns and all this other bullshit are going to come back and ride that cock and say, oh my God, this was the best decision we ever fucking made?
I mean, there's going to be growing pains, and it's one of those situations that I understand. This is 20 plus years of basically we'll go to like mediocre, and then we're dropping, and we're mediocre, and then dropping, and we'll show flashes, and then we dip each year since the Super Bowl loss to the Buccaneers in 2002. Like, I get it. A lot of us Raider fans we're impatient. How many times do we have to keep trying to reinvent the wheel just to be like these other teams? You got the Bengals, except for this year because they're 1-4, but you got the Bengals for the last couple of years. They made it to the Super Bowl that same year that we almost, we almost went to that next round. And you're looking at the Bengals like, well, they got it right. How come we can't get it right? So,
but then we talked about it earlier, and we'll bring it up again here. In those 20 plus years, what has been the problem?
Inconsistency and changing. Well, basically inconsistency with changing coaches every 2 years.
And if it ain't coaches, it's offensive coordinators. We've had no consistency. These teams that have been who do this shit, they got consistency, and then they're able to build around that. We have every 2 years, we're changing head coaches, we're changing offensive coordinators, we're making changes. I mean, that was Derek Carr's problem for 9 years. He had how many different head coaches and how many different offensive coordinators?
Let's see. Dennis Allen. Then you had Tony Sparano. Then you had what after that was Jack Del Rio. And then after Jack Del Rio was John Gruden. Then after John Gruden was McDaniels. And then now back to Dennis Allen with the Saints. So, yeah. And the offensive coordinator, that's too much to go through. There was too many people.
Yeah, I mean, but you get my point. if you're going to put it on anybody, you're going to have to put it on ownership. And that goes back to Al Davis. And then after 2011, it goes to Mark Davis. Now, Mark Davis, I think, has been doing shit right here as of late and trying to get the right people in and go. And let's give it a chance. But it goes, it goes up higher than even, coaching and everything on why we've been in the situation we've been in for as long as we've been in it.
Yeah, and you go back to say 2011. You go back to Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson did have some times where he he was bad at time managing, trying to bring plays in, delay a game, and making certain decisions, certain key points in decisions. We went 8-8 that year. We lost. It wasn't his fault because we had Czech Bresnahan coming back. He was a defensive coordinator in 2002 when we went to the Super Bowl, and we had the number 2 defense behind the Buccaneers. But when they tried to bring him back in 2011, that defense just wasn't good at all. And we somehow was able to, make it to, if we beat the Chargers, we can get into the playoffs. And then losing to the Chargers in the last game, Broncos got in. So, Hugh Jackson has some learning to do from offensive coordinator to head coach. And yeah, AP has not been a coordinator or anything, and he has his NFL experience is very low, but he's also trying to learn on the fly, and that's why he brought in so many experienced coaches. So it's still too early to see how this is going to go. The team doesn't look bad. It's just when the offense is not moving the ball consistently to keep the defense off the field, and the defense has to go back out there after 3 and out. They're going to get tired. Then the opposing offense, now they just broke free with a long run, or, the coverage was, they found a soft spot, and now they got a long pass. So the team is still trying to, basically the offense is still trying to find its footing. And that's why they made the quarterback change, because maybe it was the quarterback, the inconsistency at that position with Gardner Minshew. And maybe that shows why Gardner Minshew has not been a starting quarterback outside of this year his whole career. So,
well, he did start his first year in Jacksonville.
As a rookie, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he does, yeah, that last game in Oakland, yeah.
Well, he did that too. Then he beat us in Indy last year.
Yeah. But see, I would say with Indy, I'll say that with him coming off the bench, and I know he was already starting then, but he wasn't the starter going in, so I guess that pressure wasn't on him. They lost their starting quarterback again, like this year. So they lost the starting quarterback. Was it Young?
No,
Bryce
Anthony
Young?
Richardson.
I always get them mixed up. Anthony Richardson, yeah, I always get them mixed up. But he goes down. Minshew comes in as the backup, now becoming a starter. So that pressure probably wasn't on him like that for him to be the guy. Like whatever happens, and they almost got themselves into the playoffs for the Colts. So I don't know if now you're the starting quarterback. I'm not just playing like playing. I'm playing not to lose my job. And then here we are. I'm on the bench now because I was playing too tight, and I lost my job. So we'll see what O'Connell coming back in, if there is a difference in the way this offense flows because of that quarterback position.
Well, and we said it before. We felt like during the preseason, especially because that's when we saw it, Aidan O'Connell had better command of this offense than Minshew did.
Yeah. He did have that pick 6 against Denver, but I guess that's what happens because Minshew got that pick 6 against the Broncos where it really counted. Yeah, let's go back to Aidan. And I feel like Minshew was more of a I feel like AP still wanted to start Aidan O'Connell. But because if he, like I said on Wednesday in his press conference at the beginning of the season, he said, it was a collective decision between me, Getsy, and Telesco to start Minshew, the veteran, going into the season, and then we were evaluated from there. When they asked him, when we played the clip earlier at the beginning of the show, they said, well, whose decision was it to go to O'Connell? And he said, it was mine. It's my decision. So it sounds like AP is like, okay, I'm going to bring my guy in, and let's see how this works. And you said this on Wednesday. You said, okay, well, if I'm going to get fired, speaking of like AP, if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to go down with my own decisions. And now maybe this, and you guys said this also, maybe this for AP will kind of like make him be more of himself and maybe be more of that intern when he was the intern coach last year, where I'm just going to coach how I see it and not try to be more, I guess, overthinking it because I'm the new head coach now. Let me just go by how I feel, like I was a player, like when I was a player. So,
yeah, I totally agree with that. I think this is AP figuring out I'm in charge. I get to say, what happens. Whatever the reason for going with Minshew, that experiment is, for the time being, over. And now let's see what we got with O'Connell. And like I said, we go on a 4-game winning streak right here. And I guarantee you go on a 4-game winning streak right here, and a lot of fans' attitudes are going to change.
Yeah. And if we look at the schedule, I mean, we go back into SoFi Field, and I feel like that's our biggest opponent. Besides the actual opponent that we play on the field, I feel like SoFi is the difference maker in that game. So we might have to try to figure out a way to eradicate the bad juju in this coming Wednesday show. But
I agree with games. He put Aidan O'Connell closed the season out pretty well last season.
Yeah, with an offense that was being put together each week, because they threw out half of that playbook that McDaniels had. And after they fired Lombardi's son, the offensive coordinator, so they're putting together an offense with Bo Hardigree, who never called plays before this last season, and they did pretty well. They were complimentary enough for the defense to do their thing. That's what I don't want to say that's what we need to do now, because it sounds like I'm saying we need to strive for mediocrity on offense so that defense can survive. Not saying that. What I'm saying is maybe with Aidan O'Connell, that'll get the offense kind of going. It's kind of like that car in the mud. It's stuck. So now Aidan O'Connell is that stick that goes between the tire and the mud, and now they get the car out, and then here we go.
And here we go. So if you look at the schedule, Aidan O'Connell's going to go against some tough teams. Well, the next 4 games are just going to be tough, period. I mean, I know, Steelers, that's going to be tough. They're 4-1. I'm not sure what the Rams are right now, but again, like you said, SoFi, I don't think we've won a game in SoFi yet.
No, only the first time they got there, they won, and they've been defeated since.
Then we got Kansas City, which is going to be a tough game.
At home.
At home, but it's still a tough game.
Yeah.
And then we go with the Bengals, which I know they're also, I think, 1-4 right now.
Yep.
And yet, they're a tough team. So if he can pull out, like I said, you win these 4 games going into your bye, you've got a lot of momentum going in your favor right there. And breaking a bunch of different curses. But finally beat Kansas City in Vegas. Another win in SoFi. We keep the Bengals down. That'd be good because you never know what the playoffs are going to go if it gets to that point.
Yeah. And who knows with O'Connell coming in, maybe Devontae Adams. It was mentioned last week. Hey, you know what, man? I think I want to stay. And no, maybe, it's not because the Jets fired their head coach.
It'd be hard for him to get the locker room back.
He's gonna be like, no, it's not because the Jets lost their head coach and Derek Carr got hurt with the Saints. No, I really feel like with O'Connell we can do something. Yeah, Yeah. So, so who's we don't know. And
If that happens, it might show you how the team truly feels about that quarterback situation we were in.
Yeah, and AP when asked about Devontae, he said he was never not a Raider. So if he's healthy, he's gonna go. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess the way he hinted it is that he should be healthy for next week's game. Not saying he will play or not, if so, but he should be healthy for next week's game. I guess it's more so on what happens if he does get traded by then to who and whatever. But so with the Steelers, let's go to the head-to-head. Raiders, I know it's surprising, but we have the all-time series lead 17-15. A lot of the playoff games have been favoring the Steelers, and that was at 7 is rivalry. And the Steelers coming to actually 3-2, first in the AFC North though. Raiders are 2-3, fourth in the AFC West. It's kind of like win-win loss. They got that extra loss last year. So the Raiders are due to beat the Steelers.
Both ways. We're due because, it should be win-win loss, the way it goes. So we're due there because it was loss. Not to mention the way we've gone for the season, right? We lose, win, lose, win, lose. So we're up for the win this week, right?
Yeah, and I mean, look at the two quarterbacks that they beat. They beat Lamar Jackson, who knows how to run all over you. They beat him. They beat Watson, who when he was good, he knew how to run around you and everything. They beat him. So with whether, and you said it's confirmed that Justin Fields will be the quarterback. That was the thing that they were talking about. Yeah, they were talking about we're gonna go Russell Wilson or Justin Fields or whatever. But Justin Fields being the younger legs, he can run too compared to Russell Wilson now in his 13th year. But maybe this Raiders defense, they just know how to stop running quarterbacks. I don't know why the quarterbacks that sit back there and pass, and Bo Nix, he's a running quarterback. He has a lot of yards, but he didn't really do too much running, did he, last week?
No, I don't think he did a lot of running. No, he had a couple of plays, but just like Minshew, a couple of plays, not like he used to be.
Yeah, and last week's game, the Broncos didn't necessarily beat us. We beat ourselves, and after that pick six, that momentum swing, and the Raiders not being able to overcome that, they say, well, they're a young team, and I'm not trying to use excuses, but, they weren't able to overcome that a pick six early in the game before halftime. And then, of course, when the Broncos went for that long field goal and the Broncos kicker missed it, but then we ended up getting that flag for what is that called? He tried to leverage or something
like that. Yeah, you're not allowed to push off of an offensive lineman to get leverage.
Yeah, so which made him, a closer try and a retry. Having that field goal going up 13-10, the game was still close, but just the offense, it just seemed like the offense got they I don't want to say they got scared, but they weren't aggressive like they were in those first three drives. And you can tell it was just a whole different, just the body language alone. Like Minshew lost his confidence, and it was over by then. So, I would say the Raiders beat themselves in that game. They weren't.
You can say out of the three losses, the Raiders beat themselves out of two of those.
Yeah,
Chargers and last week that Carolina, whatever happened, we got spanked, and that one I'm going to say from the get-go, that was a loss.
The red rifle. I said it right this time.
The red rifle. Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like the Raiders, if they maybe with O'Connell coming in, they have a rejuvenation, a rejuvenation. Where I'm trying to preach right now. Rejuvenation in the offense, where we're able to go down the field and make plays and make scores and do what we got to do to send the Steelers home, because that stadium's going to be filled with not just silver and black, but also gold and black, because the Steeler fans with their towels, they travel. So we got to make sure, like we did to the Browns fans, send them back home with a loss, defend our home, and get ready to go back to our second home in LA and play the Rams in a stadium that we are 1 and whatever in, and try to get a win over there. So it all starts with this Sunday. It all starts with this weekend, and see what Aidan O'Connell can do, because like you said, he did have a better command of the offense. It looked like it in the preseason. And you've seen, yeah, he got sacked last week, whatever, but you also know that the Broncos are going to pin their ears back to go after Aidan O'Connell. So with the
at that point, that game was one-dimensional, and that's what probably led to that sack, because they knew we weren't going to try to run shit because we were trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, but you've seen how when he felt the pressure and he was able to run away from it. So he can move. He's not just a statue. When you had an offensive line like he had last year, and just everything that happened last year, of course, yeah, he kept getting hit, kept falling down, whatever, but he kept getting back up. He didn't let it bother him. He still, trying to do his thing as a rookie.
He was able to do what Minshew, we didn't see out of Minshew, and have that short-term memory. He was able to shake off whatever mistake he made and come back and act like it didn't happen when he came back in. Minshew seemed to be, when he makes his mistake, it affects him and it goes downhill from there. Yeah, it just, one mistake, then another, then another, then another. And then it's just like, okay, how do we stop the bleeding? And Minshew's running around, just kept opening up the wound and allowing us to keep bleeding out.
Yeah. So is Aidan O'Connell a Band-Aid, or is he the stitches that heals this offense? That's what we're going to figure out this Sunday. But let's look at the rankings. The Steelers' offense, surprisingly, are just one better over us, 22nd to us, 23rd. Their defense, of course, is, well, I mean, we're, okay, 9 spots down. They got the 10th ranked defense. We got the 19th ranked defense. Their passing is 26. Ours is 15th. And that was under Minshew. And then their rushing, though, 11 compared to 30th for us. But, hey, at least we're 2 spots up from the bottom. So right there. And if we
might be better.
Yeah. So, and maybe with Aidan coming in, I don't know. Maybe the running game. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, no, I think we are a pass team to open up the run. And Devon here says, sustaining drives to keep our D fresh, for the end should be our MO, and that's true. That's going to come with those short passes, those quick passes, and moving the chains. That's all we got to do. Move the chains. You don't have to get it all in one pass. If you can and get the score, that's great. But if you move the chains, second and 3, move the chains. 3rd and 1, move the chains. You keep moving the chains 10 yards at a time. That keeps your defense off the field, keeps their defense on the field, and you start demoralizing them because they're trying to figure out how to stop this shit, because we have a lot of players on the team who can get you a lot of yak yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
once you pass the line of scrimmage, yeah.
And not only that, is look at the games that we won. When the running game was going, it's because we opened up the run game with the pass. We need to start off passing, dinking and dunking, doing what we need to, West Coast style offense. That's what Getsy does. And the run will come there. And then when the run starts coming, then, that's going to be the game. Then we control the, time of possession. We're controlling the clock. We're controlling the fucking field. But it's going to start with opening up with the pass. You need somebody who can sit there and not want to throw behind the line of scrimmage, but throw 3 yards in front of it and let your damn receiver, whoever it is, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker,
Trey Tucker or DJ
Turner, shit like that, and let them get those extra yards, and that turns to 5-6 yards, and you're in manageable situations, and not throwing behind the line of scrimmage 1 yard out, getting hit right away, and now you're in 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8, or deciding we're just going to force feed the run here. Let's run, and why can't we do shit? We need to open up the run game with the passing first.
Yeah, and that seems to be, the way. I'm sorry, over. That seems to be the recipe where we had started with the pass first, and like we did against the Broncos with Bowers before that pick six, the offense was just going down the field at ease because we were using Brock Bowers also, and then I opened up all the other receivers. So I think, and that's how we did it in 2002. Now, I know I'm talking 20 years ago, but I missed that team. So have the pass open up the run that'll push back all the defenders out of the box, and that can open up more space for the running game to start taking off like it should have been, like AP wants it to be. So we'll see how that goes. Asylum, let's go quickly into the keys of the game. For we believe will be the keys of victory. Here we go.
All right. I mean, number one, let's go back to basics. We got, and even AP be talking about this. Focus and fundamentals, penalties, tackling. As AP says, stop punching for the fucking ball and start wrapping up. If you can hold them standing up, somebody else can come and knock the ball out. But we got to get back to to the fundamentals. Stop with the fucking penalties because we're tracking to where we normally are, and start tackling. Get back to the basics. Second, the offense opens up after the run game is established, but the offense is going to open up with the pass first. Then the run game is going to get established, and then we're going to be unstoppable.
Yes.
And then I think this is going to be a key one. This is going to show a lot. Whatever it is, because it's not Gardner running around. It's O'Connell standing put, whatever. But the offensive line needs to keep a pocket.
Yes.
Focus on blocking. Focus on keeping your quarterback upright and not scrambling for his life.
Yeah, and then that's a big difference because the offensive lineman is not right here trying to figure out, is he, I got this guy, and now I got a holding penalty because our quarterback went the way I'm trying to push the guy into, or, whatever. Just form a pocket. Just make sure that pocket's clean. Let O'Connell go through his progressions. And I know people's going to be like, well, he's a statue. He's going to get hit. Our offense line is not that good. But if you just at least give him, just enough to bam, 1, 2, 3, okay, throw, whatever. Just enough time. Just keep that pocket around clean. Where your quarterback's at. Just focus on pass blocking. That could be a big key into this offense being able to perform better under O'Connell. And talking about players and injuries, our injury report right here, another long list.
They got a long list too. About time.
Well, we got a lot of questionables. Tommy Eichenberg is questionable. Jacoby Myers with an ankle is questionable. Eichenberg has the hamstring. And then Thayer Mumford might be coming back, but he's questionable for this game, which is good, though, because we didn't know if he was going to be out for a long period of time the way he went down in his injury, I believe, against the Ravens. Jackson Powers-Johnson, which is not a good one. A knee, he's questionable, but I assume he's going to play. The way he plays, he's going to play. Zimmer White might be coming back after being inactive last week with that groin. And then Trey Taylor, the rookie, might see his first action on the field. He had a knee. He is now questionable. I think he was also on the he was activated from the IR. And then if you look across with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson is on the report, but he should be playing, or if needed, he'll be playing. He'll be back. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying he's supposed to be the backup.
Yeah. You have the safety, Demonte Kazi. He's out with an ankle. You have Nick Herbig, the linebacker, hamstring out. Alex Highsmith, linebacker, groin out. The tight end, Pruitt, he's out. Cordell Patterson, X-Raider, running back, he's out, which is good because he's a Swiss Army knife. He has the ankle. And then, of course,
he's also a punt returner and kickoff returner, and these new rules favor him.
Yeah. He made some plays when he was with the Raiders a few years back. I was upset when they got rid of him. And then you have DeMarvin Leal, the end, Nick. He is out. But I want you to look at what we have to overcome each week. These are all the players that we have lost or is out indefinitely. This is what we have been dealing with. Wilkins was placed on the IR. They don't know if it's going to be season ending or not, but they're going to evaluate after 4 weeks. He's out indefinitely with that foot. Luke Masterson was put on the IR with a knee. I believe it's the 4 week. Didn't say he was out for the season. Devontae Adams, he has a hamstring, but because of the trade talks, he is out indefinitely. Michael Mayer, not sure when he's going to come back, so he's out indefinitely. Michael Epps, we know he's out for the season. With
Marcus.
What did I say?
Michael.
No, Michael Mayer and Marcus.
No, you said Marcus Epps.
Yeah. He's out with the knee, ACL, IR out for the season, of course, and then Kuntz didn't even get to start his season. He is out on an IR, and a lot of these players are key players that we assumed when coming into the season were going to be, huge factors into how we, how we were going to look and how we're going to succeed. So these are a lot of things that the Reds are trying to overcome, and yes, it's all about next man up, but when you have a star going down each week, or when you have a star in the making like Malcolm Kuntz, who didn't get to start his season after building what he did last season, a lot of changes had to be made. A lot of guys had to shift around and everything. So it's not the ideal situation for a rookie coach to come in. But if he can handle having all these guys out, where they still look like they're competing, that's what I'm kind of just looking at. Well, okay, how do you handle adversity as a head coach? How do you get these guys coming up as a head coach? These guys, your depth chart, these young guys, these rookies, these first and second year guys. How is he able to get these guys prepared and step up to take over for guys like Devontae Adams and Christian Wilkins and Epps, so that's one thing that we're going to see going into these next couple of weeks, especially with guys like Wilkins and Masterson, who can be back, but we'll see on that one. So, just being a Raider fan, having all these things that we got to overcome, So that's the case right there. Before we get to our neural history, any comments on the injury report?
No, I mean, like you said, we've got key players out, people who we thought were going to be, big contributors, especially on the defensive side. There, Devontae Adams shit, the headache that's going on there. I mean, we're trying to it just feels like we always got something. We're trying to
always have drama.
Yeah, we always got something going on, and we just got to get that shit down. What's going to solve everyone's problems is winning. We start winning, and everyone's going to start forgetting about all kinds of shit, and all this crazy talk about, this, that, or the other will eventually stop. But it all starts with, getting that W, coming out. It doesn't matter if it's ugly. As Hondo always says, Al Davis never said win pretty. He just said win, just win. So we just need to come out and start getting these wins and go from there.
And as John Madden, I believe it was John Madden that said, winning is the greatest deodorant. So with that, let's go into your history now. This is from the NFL Network when they would have those top 10 lists and they had ranked the Raiders-Steelers rivalry as number 2 behind the Giants, the rivalry between the Giants and the Eagles. So here is that segment where they talk about how this rivalry started, why it is, and why it's one of the greatest in NFL history. Is that you or me?
I got it.
Okay, here we go.
And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history.
The number 2 rivalry of all time. The silver and black and the black and gold.
We definitely didn't like each other.
Now there's a little bit of milling around going on. Lambert is off to one side, and they've got Vela up to the other.
Playing on the fringe of what was legal and beyond the fringe.
So it's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
I think Raiders-Steelers represents everything that was great about the 1970s and the way the NFL used to play.
The Oakland Raiders have taken a 7-6 lead.
Rarely can you point to the precise inception of a rivalry, but make no mistake, this one began with this snap in the 1972 playoffs.
It's down to one big play, 4th down and 10 yards to go. Bradshaw running out of the pocket, looking for somebody to throw to, fires it downfield. And there's a collision. It's caught out of the air. The ball is pulled in by Franco Harris. Harris is going for a touchdown for Pittsburgh.
I think the immaculate reception is in Pittsburgh. You learn that right after you go to school.
Immaculate deception.
What, are they still crying about he didn't catch it? He caught that ball.
And I go to my grave saying the ball hit the ground.
Fuqua knows he hit it, and it should have been our game.
The Steelers got the best of that deal. The officials helped him with that one.
I thought we got taken. The word is stronger than that. It was a mistake, but it was one of those things. It was I guess it was an honest mistake.
You can't just keep crying about that. You got to move forward.
I think uniforms help this one. Steelers, Raiders, just from physical appearance, these are the 2 most villainous looking teams in the league.
And Jack Lambert, okay, he had his moments, okay, but I mean, after all, how can you respect a guy that has no teeth? The thing you have to remember about the Steelers and the Raiders that usually one of the 2 teams is going to be in the championship.
3 straight seasons, 1974, 75, and 76, they met in the AFC Championship game. Each year, the winner went on to take the Super Bowl.
John Madden's grin is from ear to ear. He looks like a slit watermelon.
The Raiders and the Steelers, if you didn't come out of that game with a few stitches, you didn't play. And I just love that about that rivalry.
Easy for him to say. Lynn Swann felt different.
The blow was illegal, delivered with what would seem to be some type of malice.
The Raiders were never real empathetic.
And if he don't want to get hit, his best bet is not to show up when we play Sunday, because I guarantee he will get hit.
Poor Swan's out there in the middle. That's why we were glad he did ballet. He could usually just fly over those guys.
Oh, now I see something that's different and closer.
Lynn Swann, soft.
Steelers, Raiders, as long as the guys from the 70s are still around, still walking the earth, this will be a rivalry because it was that intense in the 70s.
Raiders-Steelers definitely deserves to be top 5.
It was ultimate hate. And in the National Football League, that's beauty.
I love that accent laugh there right in between. When Lynn Swann said whatever he said, and Hackett said, fuck you. And then
you had the Steelers. They took the Raiders to court saying that they were over there, what they call the criminal element of the league.
The coach turned around and called them criminals, and George Atkinson took him to court, tried suing him for defamation of character.
So this rivalry is not only on the field, it's on the court.
And it's the immaculate deception. I agree with Atkinson there. It's not the reception, it's the deception.
Yeah. So, and the story they said about that one was when not Fuqua, but when the running back that caught the ball.
Fuqua.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. God damn it, he was just there.
But when he ran it in, they didn't signal touchdown yet. They were trying to figure out, like, wait, that's an illegal play because back then in the 70s.
Thank you, Devon.
Yeah, Franco Harris. When the ball touches an offensive player and it bounces to another offensive player, if the other offensive player touches it first before another, defensive player, so basically a double touch, they called it.
Yeah. Back then that was illegal.
And the whole debate was that when Jack Tatum ran number 31 his rookie year, when he went to go hit Fuqua, that they're trying to say that ball bounced off of the shoulder pads of Jack Tatum, and it came back to the line of scrimmage. But they also said that Fuqua had a big old bruise right after that play on his arm trying to catch that ball. So they're saying maybe that ball bounced off of his arm and went to line of scrimmage. Then there was the case of, did he catch the ball, Franco Harris, or did it touch the ball? Did it touch the ground? And then when he ran back, Phil Filippiano said,
the missed clipping call on Filippiano when he went to go tackle him and everything. So I mean, it was just, it reminds me of the Chiefs of today.
We don't get flagged. But the funny story was they asked the joke was when Franco Harris ran it in, the referees went to go call security. Hey, how many guys do you have? We have 6. All right, 6 points. The Steelers win. Because they said they never signaled it. All the referees, they ran to the dugout of Three River Stadium to go call, like, hey, because all these fans are already coming onto the field. They're already storming the field to celebrate. If it came back and be like illegal play, incomplete, and reverse that rule, so that also adds to the that whole history behind the play of the Immaculate Reception, and since then,
reception,
the Immaculate Reception, and since then, that started that rivalry. Of course, after that, the Raiders kept running into the Steelers in the playoffs, and they it was at 74, 75. Then the Raiders came in 76. They finally beat the Steelers in the playoffs, won, and came in 76, beat the Vikings in the Super Bowl. So just that 70s alone, that's where the history was formed back then. And it's been back and forth the last couple of weeks. We showed it on the head-to-head graphic, but it's a big rivalry. It's more so, like they said in the video, where like the older guys who are on those 70s teams, for them, yeah, they're all cool now, they're all friends now, but they still jab each other. There's a story that Filippiano would always call Franco Harris before Harris passed away, like, you didn't catch that ball. You guys clip me every time when it's Raiders Steeler week. So that's
then the stories about Fuqua was going to come out and tell the truth about the play, and before he get a chance to say something, he always says, I can't do it. There's a bunch of stories when it comes to the Immaculate Deception and shit like that. So
yeah, so it was that right.
Just ask for Filippiano and he'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, even Al Davis took blame. He goes, I was the one that went to they were like, why don't you guys went to Chuck Noah and said, why don't you guys start Bradshaw? He's a great quarterback. And ever since then, Bradshaw always found a way to beat the Raiders in the playoffs. And Al Davis said, hey, little me, I'm the one that put it up there. So it just adds to the whole mystique basically of that rivalry between the two. So hopefully this weekend we take over the rivalry and on the winning side of this match coming up at Allegiant Stadium. So we'll see what happens. I will be there, so I'll be there live, hopefully. Like you brought good luck to the Raiders in that Christmas game last year when Jack Jones came and got the interception. He was right there in the TV. I got to put that graphic back up so you can have it up there. Maybe I can do the same thing for the Raiders. Yes, I can do the same thing for the Raiders, and they can get a victory and go back in the winning column. 3-3 is much better than 2-4. So let's go. We can do it. I believe we can do it.
I think we can do it.
Who are going to be there? We gotta be louder than the Steeler fans. That'll probably be 60-40.
Hey, we need to keep those towels from fucking swinging is what we need to do.
Yes, make him use them towels to cry. So with that, Asylum, let's get ready for this game on Sunday. Home game, afternoon game. I'm ready. I'm here in Vegas. So I'm at my auntie's house, my godmother's house. So Puerto Rican flag. So all right then. Any last words or anything, Asylum?
No, let's just go out there and get back to the fundamentals, go back to playing football. Let's keep O'Connell upright so he can show what he could do and show that, Minshew was the wrong decision and go from there. Let's just get this W. I don't care how we get it, ugly, pretty, just get the W.
Yes, and remember, it's time for Team Ramrod. Say it!
Team Ramrod!
All right. All right, everybody. Want to say enjoy the weekend. Hopefully we end it with a victory out here in Vegas. I can't wait. Gonna be out the tailgates. I'm gonna go hit up Fabian, the Copa Fabian over there in J-Lot, and I gotta see if he's here too. Okay, I want to get some merch too. So all right then, with that said, let's go Raiders. Let's beat the Steelers. Silver and black over the black and gold. Let's go. All right, Asylum. Before we go, we also got to start over. All right, before we go, we're going to end every show like we always do with a message from Raider Milt, a.k.a. for me, Coach Wallace, keeping his memory alive. He would have been out there talking a lot of mess on the visitor sideline, getting in their heads. So I'm not used to being. I don't have my headphones or nothing. It's so weird. So I want to thank everybody for watching. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Everyone in the comment section. So appreciate that. Let's get this victory. Let's go. All right, Asylum, take us out. Here we go. Let's get that victory. Let's go.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight. Again, I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.